Disbrow is at his wire, with a man walking the floor behind him, and there's a piebald bronc hitched out beyond the freight shed," was the brief report. "Who is the floor walker?" asked Sprague. "I couldn't get a fair squint at him, but he looked mightily like the fellow I've been keeping cases on for the last 2 or 3 days." "Gentlemen, we're in luck for once," Sprague said impressively. "That's Jennings, without a doubt, and he is waiting for a wire, the right kind of wire, to come from Brewster. You remember what I told Maxwell as we were leaving. That was one time when a guess was as good as a prophecy. Go on, Billy, and head straight for the mesquite, and you gentlemen back there, get your weapons ready. If there happens to be a guard at the dam, we'll have to rush it." Singularly enough, when the short run was accomplished, they found that there was no guard. The shack camp was deserted, with all the disorder of a hasty evacuation strewn broadcast. But in the valley itself there was a startling change. The lake, which 3 days earlier had reached only halfway up the earth embankment, was now lapping within a foot of the dam top, the result of the continued storms and cloudbursts reported by the Brewster weather station. Starbuck eased the big car up the dam head, and Williams and Tarbell made a quick quartering of the deserted camp. "Nobody here," the engineer reported, when they came back to the car, and then Sprague asked Starbuck to relight the headlamps. With the acetylenes flinging their broad white beam across the earthwork, another change was made apparent. In the center of the dam a square pit, plank-lined like the shaft of a mine, had been either sunk or left in the building. Over this pit stood a 3-legged hoist, with the block and tackle still hanging from its apex. "What is that thing out there?" queried the colonel, shading his eyes with his hand. "Jennings would probably tell you that it is a new kind of spillway by which, in case of need, the reservoir lake can be emptied," suggested Sprague. "But we haven't time to investigate it just now. Our job at the present moment is to take the law into our hands and empty the lake, and to do it, if we can, without bringing on the catastrophe it was designed to accomplish." "Heavens!" ejaculated Colonel Baldwin. "That's a criminal offense, isn't it? And in the face of Judge Watson's injunction at that." "It is criminal," was the calm reply, "unless we shall find sufficient justification for it as we go along. There is one chance in a dozen that we may find it first. Tobble, take this little flashlight of mine, and skip out there and look into that pit." Tobble paused scarcely a moment at the mouth of the mid-dam shaft. "It's filled up to within a few feet of the top with dirt," he said, when he returned. "That is what I expected. We may find another warrant for what we are about to do, but we haven't time to search for it. Jennings may come back at any minute, and if he suspects anything wrong he'll bring that bunch of dance-hall cowmen with him. If you'd like to hide in the car and stand aside to see what we will do when he comes—" "By Jove, I'm with you, injunction or no injunction," cried Smith, and he began to take the picks and shovels out of the car. "Go to it," said the colonel, and Sprague turned to Williams. "Mr. Williams, you're an engineer. Our problem is to drain this lake in the shortest possible time in which it can be done without raising a dangerous flood level in the Timignani River. We're under your orders." Williams took to the job as a dog snaps at a fly, barking out his directions with the curt precision of a man who knew his business. Planks were brought from the dismantled shacks to be thrust down on the inward face of the dam as a protection, and these were weighted in place with a makeshift buttressing built out of the bags of sand which had been used as temporary cofferdams in the construction work. When all was ready, a small ditch was opened across the protected end of the dam, and the water began to pour through. Immediately the wisdom of William's precaution became evident. Instantly the rushing stream began to eat into the loosely built dam, threatening to turn the ditch into a gully and the gully into a chasm. And quick work was necessary with more planks and sandbags to check the rapid widening of the spillway. Even at that, the ditch grew swiftly deeper and more cavernous as the torrent emptied itself through it, and the roar of the artificial cataract filled the air with a note of sustained thunder. "Jennings'll be deaf if he doesn't hear this plumb down at the railroad," shouted Tarbell. But there was no time to consider the consequences Jennings-wise. Every man of the 6, including the colonel, was constrained to work like mad to prevent the catastrophe they were trying to avert. It was when the flood was pouring through the gap in a solid 6-foot stream that shot itself far out to fall in a thunderous deluge upon the barren mesquite mesa, and the planking and sandbagging was sufficing to hold it measurably within bounds, that Sprague took steps looking toward a defensive battle should the need arise. Under his direction the auto was drawn out to one side and the lamps were extinguished. Then a hasty breastwork was made of the remaining bags of sand, and Tarbell and Starbuck were sent out as skirmishers to keep watch on the Angles road while the others renewed their efforts to hold the pouring torrent within safe limits. A toiling half-hour, during which the spillway flood had slowly grown in volume until it threatened to become a destroying crevice, slipped away, and at the end of it the two scouts came hurrying in. "They're coming," yelled Starbuck, and once again the big man from the east took the command. "Down behind the sandbags," he shouted. "If Jennings gets near enough to strike a match on this hillside, we'll all go to glory." Sprague had predicted that if Jennings suspected trouble he would not return to the dam alone. The prediction was verified when a squad of mounted men came in view at the turn in the road leading around the hill shoulder. The moon declining to its setting behind the Timanyanis flung ghostly shadows across the valley, and the watchers behind the sandbag breastwork saw only the dark blot of blacker shadows sweeping up the road. "Give 'em a volley over their heads," Sprague ordered, and the three sawed-off Winchesters barked spitefully. "That means war," said the colonel, when the charging cavalcade stopped abruptly and a dropping fusillade of revolver shots spattered into the sand breastwork and whined overhead. "We're strictly in for it now." "If those fool cowpunchers only knew what they are fighting for, they'd turn their artillery the other way," growled Starbuck. "I reckon they're the Lazy X outfit, and Cummings, their owner, is one of the Highline directors." "It's a pity we can't get word to them some way," said Smith. "We're not out to kill anybody if we can help it." "No, but they're out to kill us," granted Williams, as a second shower of bullets thudded into the breastwork and tore up the gravel on either hand. Then, "What are they doing now?" The defenders of the breastwork were not left long in doubt as to what was doing. The horsemen in front were deploying in a thin line which rapidly bent itself into a semicircle across the hill slope. To let any one of these skilled marksmen gain the rear meant death for somebody, and again Sprague gave the word of command. "Better kill the horses than men," he said. "We've got to stop that maneuver." And again the Winchester spoke, this time to deadlier purpose. At the third volley, 2 of the horses were down, and the scattering line was drawing together again and galloping out of range. In the lull which succeeded, Williams dropped his weapon and crawled quickly away to the edge of the spillway torrent. When he came back, there was a new note of alarm in his voice. "That spillway of ours is eating away the dam at a rate of a foot a minute," he announced. "If we can't get to work on it again, the whole business will go out with a rush." It was a cruel dilemma, and it was quickly made worse by a new movement on the part of the attackers. Jennings's party was closing in again, and flashes of red fire were appearing here and there on the hillside to herald a dropping hail of pistol bullets. Under cover of the irregular firing, a man was worming his way down toward the edge of the ravine, through which the wasting torrent was rushing out upon the mesa. It was Sprague who first saw the crawling man and divined his purpose. "That's Jennings," he exclaimed, "and if he reaches the edge of that gully, we're all dead men. Stop him, Starbuck. Don't kill him if you can help it, but stop him." Starbuck leveled his short rifle over the top of the breastwork and took careful aim. The light was bad, and he could scarcely see the sights. At the trigger pulling, those who were watching saw a little cloud of dust and gravel spring up directly in front of the crawling man, saw this, and heard above the roaring of the torrent his yell of pain as he doubled up and clapped his hands to his face. "Good shot, Billy," gritted the white-haired colonel. "You've blinded him. Now if we could only choke those crazy range riders off. Tarbell, can't you— Where's Tarbell gone?" Tarbell's place at the end of the breastwork was empty, and Smith, who was next in the line, accounted for him. "Archer dropped out a minute or two ago. I think he's trying to